Everybody, and well done on a great second week that we've had together, exploring different areas of the curriculum and of course different types of reasoning activities. So in this video we are going to be looking at some of the things we've already visited, and I'm going to set a couple of pieces of homework just so that we can consolidate everything that we have looked at so far. Okay, so allow me to bring my screen up. Where are we? Here we are. Okay, right. So we've looked at many things, but the things that we are going to revisit in this video are personification, changing fractions into decimals, and verbal reasoning. Okay, so let's start off with personification. Now, just a reminder, personification is a type of figurative language in which we bring non-human objects to life by giving them a quality associated with human beings, hence personification. Okay, so if you ever forget what personification means, just remember the first two syllables, person, yeah? Okay, and that will remind you, it's all about objects acting like people. So here's an example. Oops. The flower's petals fell listlessly from its hanging head. The flower's petals fell listlessly from its hanging head. Now, we discussed the word listlessly, so I don't want to remind you what it is. Hopefully you remember. If you don't remember, grab a dictionary so that you can really appreciate the sentence. Okay, but where is the personification? Well, we have given the flower a head, and of course, do flowers really have heads? It looks like they do. If you imagine a flower, it's got like a circular, spherical roundness to it at the top, which obviously looks a little bit like a head. But also, the very fact that I've described the petals falling listlessly, well, I'm not going to say too much about that because I want you to remember what listlessly means all by yourself. But can you see how that word is used to kind of give it a human emotion as well? So that's what personification is. It's all about bringing sentences to life by giving non-human objects human qualities. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm just going to hide my camera for a second because I'm worried that it's covering some of the screen. Okay. So I'm going to read a very, very, very short bit of text to you. The sky growled at the sleeping rocks below. Everything about the landscape was picturesque, but a feeling of uneasiness quickly possessed any visitor. The water was calm and had a thick texture, like a transparent blanket reflecting the precarious sky. So it would be a good idea to pause the video once I've read through these questions. The first question is, can you locate 3 examples of personification? And the second question is, can you use a dictionary to define the words written in red? But before you grab a dictionary to define those words, what I would recommend is see if you can come up with an idea all by yourself of what those words might mean by reading around the sentence. So we talked about that for the last couple of days. Read around the sentence, read around the word and try to come up with your own definition for each word and see how close you are. You might get it bang on. Okay, so make sure you pause this video to answer those questions because I'm going to move on to our next piece of homework now. Okay, our next piece of homework involves changing fractions into decimals. So on the screen, you can see that I've got a bunch of decimals and, a bunch of fractions. And what I need to do is change them into decimals. So let me remind you of the technique we use to do this. So if we've got the fraction 3/5 or 3/5, remember, we need to divide the top number, the numerator, by the bottom number, the denominator. And the way we do that is we draw our bus stop. Inside, we put our numerator, and on the outside, we put our denominator. So you can see the relationship that exists between this fraction and this working out, yeah? We've got the top number inside the bus stop and the bottom number on the outside. Okay, then we divide this as we normally do division problems. However, you may not have come across a question like this until quite recently, where we have to divide 3 by a larger number, 5. So the way this works is we ask ourselves, how many times does 5 go into 3? And of course, the answer is 0. 5 does not go into 3. 5 is too big. So there are 0 5s in 3. So we just write that, 0. Now, because we know that our answer begins with a 0, we therefore know that our answer is less than 1, and therefore a decimal. So we can now put a decimal point next to the 0, and let's put a decimal point down here as well. Now I'm going to bring this 3 to this side of the decimal point. The reason I'm going to do that is because I've not broken down that 3 at all. It's still there. I've got to divide it. But this time, now that it's past the decimal point, I'm going to add a placeholder. So my question has now become, how many 5s go into 30? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 6. And there are no remainders, so we can stop. We have to stop. There's nothing else to do. So my answer is 0.6. So 3/5, 3 over 5 is the same as 0.6. Okay, let's do the next one as well. So I'm going to do this next one, but then that's it. This is the last demonstration I'm going to show you. So if you don't understand, make sure we watch very, very carefully, and feel free to rewind the video and watch as many times as you like until you understand this. Okay, so top number, numerator, inside the bus stop. Bottom number, denominator, outside the bus stop. How many times does 7 go into 4? Right. Well, we need, like the last question, we can appreciate that 7 is a bigger number than 4. So straight away, I know that my answer begins with a 0. And then once I've done that, I put my decimal point here and a decimal point here, and I'm going to carry the 4 over and add a placeholder. Now I need to ask myself, how many times does 7 go into 40? So a knowledge of the 7 times table is essential here. So we need to make sure that our times table knowledge is strong for all areas of maths, not just, converting fractions into decimals. In every area of maths, you could be required to use your times tables. So that's why we need a very strong grasp of our times tables. Okay, so how many times does 7 go into 40? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. If I go up to the next one, it's going to go above 40. So 35, it goes in 5 times. Now we landed on 35, so we have a remainder of 5. Add a placeholder, it becomes 50. How many times does 7 go into 50? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49. It goes in 7 times, and we land on 49. So we've got a remainder of 1. So put my remainder here, add a placeholder. How many times does 7 go into 10? Of course, it's just once. Now we've got another remainder of 3, but let's leave it there. When we've got 3 decimal places, let's leave it alone, okay? So our answer is 0.571. So the fraction 4/7 or 4 over 7 is the same as 0.571. So could you pause the video at this point and just answer this red question as well as these 3 purple questions? There's no difference between the red and purple questions. I don't know why I did it. I'm sorry. But give it a go. Give it a go and good luck. Okay, and remember, if you need reminding of the technique, just rewind it. Okay, final section of our homework, and you have been amazing so far, is verbal reasoning. Okay, quickly, I'm going to hide these questions, and I'm just going to remind you of what we need to do in this question type before showing you the rest. So we've done this, we did this on Monday and we did this on Tuesday. There is a hidden 4-letter word within that sentence. Now, the hidden word begins at the end of one word and ends at the beginning of another word. And my favorite technique to use when solving a question like this is, if this was written down on paper, I would be using a ruler, but on the screen, I'm going to create my own ruler like this. And all I'm going to do is drag that ruler along. And every time I find 2 words, so for example, top athletes, I'm just going to consider whether the 4-letter words that exist between them is a word. So T-O-P-A, is that a word? I don't think so. Topper, nope. What about O-P-A-T, OPAT. No, that's not a word, is it? So I'm going to keep going. P-A-T-H, path. That's a word. Path is a word. So we found it. Okay, now I got lucky. My hidden word was quite early on in the sentence, so I didn't have to do it for too long. But sometimes we have to be a bit more patient, but we do need to be patient, but we also need to try to be quite quick as well. We need to find a balance between making sure we don't miss anything, but also trying to be as quick as possible. So my challenge for you is, can you give yourself a 2-minute timer and answer the next 4 questions? If you don't do it within 2 minutes, that's absolutely fine, because next time you do it, I want you to compare the times. Okay, so hopefully your time gets quicker. But set yourself a 2-minute timer. Now, if the timer runs out before you answer all 4 questions, that's okay. Still continue, still try your hardest to find the answers. But just take note of it, and hopefully you'll get quicker as you practice these question types. Okay, so I'm going to show you the questions now. So have that timer ready, because I'm showing you the questions in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now pause the screen and resume when you're done. I'm assuming you're done. So we are finished now. We've worked really hard this week, and of course, I imagine you worked hard throughout this homework as well. Our next lesson is our weekly quiz on Friday, where we will be looking at more of these questions and a few more things that we've looked at, particularly last week. So have a great week, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.